I'm really excited to be joined by my guest Amy Roosa. She is the owner of the website The Safety Rack, and is a very active person online when it's talking about women's safety, which is this topic that is obviously very close to my heart when we talk about PPE for women. And I'm really excited to have this conversation with Amy. Amy, welcome to the podcast. Hi.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here too. So we're going to have a great conversation.
Yeah, and it's the morning where you are right now. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, where you
Yeah.
are?
Yeah. So, hi, everyone. I'm Amy Roosa. I'm from Iowa, USA, which is almost 7 a.m. here, my time, while we're recording this, which is great. So, I'm having my coffee, so I'm a little more excited and awake. I am the founder of the Safety Rack, which is a nonprofit focused on closing the PPE equity gap for women in industry. And this came about back in 2018 when I became the co founder of Midwest Women in Safety Conference. We just wanted to bring a bunch of women together to have a conversation, to talk about the hardships that we were experiencing in our industry. And that first year, we had the conversation of PPE. And I kind of realized, like, okay, as a safety professional, I'm kind of part of the problem because I'm buying into the misconceptions, the myths out there of, well, there is no women's PPE. That's why you have unisex. You can wear a men's small. And the entire time I'm buying into this, I hate wearing it.
Yeah.
I'm getting injured. It's uncomfortable, and I certainly don't feel confident. So I went down the rabbit hole
Mhm.
and actually started finding the very few brands that were making women specific PPE. And a lot of it was like in the FR industry, like oil and gas, where you had to have proper fitting PPE.
Yeah.
And so I was putting it on my platform, just sharing it. And my husband, who is amazing, came home one day and he's like looking at all this PPE I was buying or getting in to look at. And he's like, could you please do something more with this? And so, because it was taking over the house, it still takes over the house most days. So the safety rack was born. And the original thought process that I had was I'll just make a platform and be this like weird niche social influencer that wears the PPE, talks about it, and, gets it out there. And that idea completely shifted within 6 months.
Wow.
The amount of conversations I was getting, not only from women messaging me going, I need help with maternity where I can't find an FR bra. I'm in menopause and this, everything is just so hot. But I was also getting it from employers going, we know this is a problem, but we're being told there's nothing we can do about it. And so, which I thought was really interesting because a lot of people just think, employers just don't care. And that has not been my experience in this journey. It really evolved to me saying, this is a bigger problem and I need to understand it and the complexities that it is. And so, within about a year and a half, and we decided that needed to be a nonprofit. We need to fund more research that's not out there. We need to get some data that's not just here in the United States, but globally, which we did with the first PPE equity report.
Mhm.
We need to have conversations like this, but we also need to have those conversations with the employers, the distributors, the manufacturers, the end of the market in the fabric and textile industry. Like, we need to bring everybody together. So I see now that the safety rack is going to be this bridge to this conversation, but also to closing this equity gap because it's not fair for women to be closed off from the access of PPE that they need to be safe to do their job. You
Yeah.
look at women firefighters
Yeah.
when they are going through basic training, they're wearing used gear. Well, that used gear is men's gear.
Mhm.
So it's extra weight on their body.
Yeah.
It's not positioned where it needs to be, like knee pads.
Mhm.
That's not fair on them. Or first responders, women in oil and gas, just women in trades, or even doctors and nurses out there. So that's where we're at today. And I'm really excited that we're about to really venture into the next phase of this. We just launched as a nonprofit this month during Women's History Month, and we just released the equity report. So we're just really gearing up. Like, a lot of planning went into this. I did not want to just walk into starting a nonprofit without there being a foundation and a plan in place.
Well, thank you so much for the work that you are doing because, as you say, this is a conversation that needs to be had. And this is something I see often in Switzerland. I've been having conversation. I used to be a purchaser for PPE for many big industries, and that was always a topic. Yeah, we need reflective FR multi-norm jackets in XS.
Good luck.
Exactly, for the women. And then, yes, I was able to somehow get an XS, but it was an XS male size. So it was still drowning women and was just not comfortable. And then I started asking other suppliers, hey, is it possible to get female cut clothing? And they were like, oh, it just doesn't make sense for us. I was like, what do you mean it doesn't make sense for us? Yeah, we need to buy a lot in order to get the production run, and it's not worth it. And then if you translate that, it's like, well, you're saying female safety is just not worth it.
Yeah.
Right?
We're sending that message loud and clear that it's not a priority and it's not a value to anybody.
Yeah.
Did you ever push back on any of your like manufacturers to try to design something, or did you find there was like a lot of resistance?
There was a lot of resistance because they have minimum production numbers, and Switzerland is a small country. We have like 4 million people in the workplace,
Mm.
and that's in the complete workplace. So when you have a production site number of, I don't know, what, 800 or 1,000 jackets in a female size, they're not going to be able to sell that right
Yeah.
now. So there needs to be some sort of solution there. But it was very difficult to, because obviously companies, they look at costs, and I was in purchasing, so I had to factor in the cost factor as well. I mean, I'm self-employed and I can try and push in other ways, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was an issue.
This is why on the Safety Rack website we have a global directory, is so that smaller countries or smaller businesses can source product that maybe is not available in their country.
Okay.
Because that to me was a huge part of what are the resources that we're going to have on the safety rack. And that was like, let's just make it, because it's global now. I mean, you can ship from anywhere in the world, so it makes sense that if you can find an XX small FR rain jacket,
Yeah.
hint hint to all the manufacturers listening, we need those. You can import it to wherever you need to get it from, and you still can make women safe.
No, I think that's definitely, so I recommend everyone just to check out the safety rack to find out, yeah, some purchasing ways to get these clothes. So what is your personal background? Like how did your venture into safety begin?
I I don't know how many people start like here, at least in the United States. Like a lot of the women that I know, we just started off by taking up the safety committee book and responsibilities and going with it. And that's kind of how I started it. I
Mhm.
was working retail for a larger corporation and
Okay.
was working in the claims department. They needed somebody on the safety committee. I started doing the audits, then I started doing the hazardous waste and environmental.
Mhm.
And then a position came open for me to do safety, and I took it.
Mhm.
And then I, did that for many years and decided I wanted to keep building my career in safety because I enjoyed it.
Mhm.
And so I moved on to the Department of Transportation here in Iowa
Mhm.
and did that for a few years. Absolutely loved it. It was a massive leap from what I was doing. So there was a huge learning curve, but I love that. Like if you're in safety, you're constantly learning. So it's
Yeah.
always like you staying fresh on every topic. Did that, and then I moved on to uh, a gas company doing some consulting and selling actually PPE products for them.
Okay.
And that was a unique experience of selling because I got a better understanding of fit and the problems
Mhm.
that I kind of didn't have as an EH&S manager. And then, of course, COVID hit and I bounced around a bit because,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, safety gets cut first at jobs, which is an unusual thing in the middle of a pandemic.
Mhm.
I now work in national risk control full time, and then Safety Rack is my part time passion project.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been doing this now 20 years and I absolutely love it. There's something new, there's always a new challenge, there's always a new way to look at things. And I absolutely love getting out to different job sites, whether it's construction or manufacturing, and just seeing the processes and the challenges and helping
Yeah.
find the solutions.
Okay. And what are the biggest challenges that you have seen then in the workforce for women in safety? Is there something that really jumps out?
Like as a professional, as a woman in safety,
Yeah.
I think it's just probably where we all struggle in a bit is getting moved up and being taken seriously in our profession. And I think we're making a lot of headway. This was part of the reason why I started Midwest Women in Safety Conference.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't feel like we were having a voice or a seat at the table. And so my original thought was, well, if we can't get a seat at the table, I'll just make the table. And so the conference was born. And that this is what gets me in trouble. If I don't get a seat at the table or my voice won't be heard, I'll just go figure it out on my own. And then
Yeah,
people
make your
just
own
tend to
table.
gravitate. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
I don't
love
want to sit
that.
at your table then. I'll just go build my own. Which is good because then they recognize the opportunity for the conversation. I think the challenges that I've seen is women using their voice to ask for the pay bump, to ask for the promotion,
Mm-hmm.
because they're so like we're taught in society that we shouldn't ask for those things. Like we should be grateful. Like, yeah, like sure, I'm grateful to have a job, but you need to pay me what my male counterpart is being paid. So
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about that. And I have actually left jobs or turned down jobs for that. I was interviewing for one job where the gentleman told me that if he paid me what I was asking and the guys found out, they might have a problem with that. And
Oh.
I remember just being shocked by that comment. And I told him, I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't disclose my salary to them. Fun thought. But I actually turned that job down. I was like, I'm not gonna go somewhere where obviously that's the first red flag I'm seeing before I even step foot in the door. But women have these issues, we experience it. So I want to make sure that, like at the conference, we're empowered to have these conversations and get the tools and resources to go back. And it's so amazing. I've had women message me like, your conference helped, or the conversation that you and I had helped because I went and asked for my raise and I got more than I was expecting. And I got the position bump. And now they're giving me training because they had that conversation. And once that hits, like just seeing the confidence grow, oh, I love it.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic to hear. So,
Yeah.
yeah, because I mean that's also an issue we have here as well. There is a huge gap between men and women. What actually is the biggest gap is the motherhood gap. So women are tend to be equal until they become mothers, and then
Yeah.
yeah, then there's nothing else that
And
can
then we
happen.
take that gap to raise our kids, and then we go back to work and have to restart the building of the
Yeah.
career.
And then
Yeah.
getting a job at 40 or something, no, that's automatically yeah, they'll get denied because of
Yeah.
age. And it's just a vicious circle. So yeah.
It was weird. I just had this conversation with
Mm-hmm.
another woman that, like, I'm 41 now, and
Mm-hmm.
I worry about the effects of ageism now and what I might experience. And I'm lucky enough that I feel like my employer is not that, and I'm pretty good. But, like, I know that these are the conversations now that we need to start having, like, as women.
Yeah.
Like, what will this look like? Are we going to have employers that are really proactive about making sure that this bias isn't in the workplace?
Mm-hmm.
And what are the tools that we need to have ready in our arsenal to counteract this when we encounter it?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a long journey, and obviously the current political status is not making things easier. I mean, what I've been reading about what's happening in the US is it's shocking to me. I mean, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that, what you're experiencing.
We, I don't really know if I can give a clear answer to that because things are changing so rapidly. When I look at like the safety side of this and we're seeing some of the data erased right now, what I'm personally doing is collecting some of the data that is being erased. So that for those
Right.
that don't know, like OSHA had a dedicated website for women in construction that also housed the 1999 report of women's safety in construction. It was a great report. It's a report that a lot of other research has probably been based off of. It's
Okay.
all gone now. And
It's
I've
gone.
put it, it's gone off their website. You can't find it. I think there's like, out of fear of saying this, there's one link on a CDC website that still houses it. And I'm saying this, I'm afraid they're going to go find it and erase it. So,
Okay.
But what I'm trying to do is some of this data is being erased. So I want to get it on the Safety Rack website and house it. And that way it's there if people are looking for it. I don't know with the way everything's shifting, like not just daily, almost hourly,
Mhm.
what we're gonna see. And so my thought is I'm going to just hold true to what I do know, and that is I can collect the data, I can house it, we can fight to let people know that why you may think that all this data regarding women is just DEI,
Mhm.
it's about their safety in the workplace at the end of the day. That's what this is about. And if you erase that data, you erase the conversations that we've been having. You erase the existence of saying to manufacturers and distributors and to employers, we need to close this gap. Here's the data that proves it. And so I'm fortunate enough, we just launched the PPE equity report on the Safety Rack website, which we did. That was a report on 505 women that we surveyed last year during our global campaign. That data has good research in it as well, right? We know the pinpoints that 66% of women feel like their PPE hinders them at work. Over 70% have experienced ill fitting PPE not working at all. At risk of having an injury has increased for them. And why the amount of women that have been injured is small, when you look at the amount that have actually had a near miss, it's larger. So there's a domino effect taking place in that data where you can see everything building up. And it sends that strong message back to manufacturers, distributors, employers that this is important. We're talking about employers being like, it's going to cost too much to to get women's PPE in. I'm sure you've experienced that, right? But here's the thing, how much is it for your workers' comp injury that you're going to experience instead, right? Is a extra $20 or let's say $200 because you have to get an XXL or extra small women's flame resistant jacket in worth the 40,000 you might get in a workers' comp because she couldn't wear it or it hindered her ability and she had to remove it completely?
Yeah.
Like, which one do you want? And then it also sends that message of, we don't value you enough to actually fit you properly.
Mhm.
So I think we're growing this conversation. I kind of went off on a tangent, but we'll see where all this conversation goes over the next few months. I'm optimistic that things might get back to normal down the road. And,
Mhm.
but even if they don't, I'm here. There are people in this space that are here. We're going to continue to be loud regardless of what changes from the administration. Like, you can try to erase it all you want. It's still here. It's still part of the conversation. And we're still going to move forward with getting more research done and doing more surveys so that we can keep proving that this data really does mean something to the workforce and to the women that it affects.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, it's not just a DEI, diversity, equality, and inclusion. It is a safety topic. It is a human right to be safe at work, and
Yeah.
human is everyone. So I'm really happy that these conversations are being had. I know also in the UK, there's the Boulders Brass.
Catherine, yeah, she's doing amazing things.
Oh my gosh.
The UK is just doing a lot right now, and that is the model that I'm looking at that we could maybe mirror down the road in the United States. They are rapid firing a plan of action to make women safer in the workplace, and I absolutely love the work by everybody in that space because it is taken a village, and that's what they have formed, and it's amazing to watch.
It is. I mean, I'm going to give a shout out to, I don't normally promote brands, but Leo Workwear in
I
the
know.
UK.
They're doing good.
They are doing great. I mean, I'm absolutely loving the stuff that I'm seeing, what Catherine is wearing. And like maternity workwear. And this is a really sad thought, but I had never thought about that until I saw it. Because this is something I do not see here in Switzerland, maternity. I mean, of course, one can discuss, yeah, maternity, when you are pregnant, there are some jobs that you're not allowed to do because of our safety. But I mean, I never thought about to think about maternity workwear. And that's a bias that I was, it was invisible to me.
It is on the directory for the Sage Rack. We have the maternity section.
Mm.
it is sparse. I think it might be like 6 brands. Leo's on there. There's a new brand here in the United States that just launched too, Rugged Peachware, but
Hmm.
it's so incredibly sparse. And
Yeah.
even those manufacturers only have like maybe a pair of pants or a shirt or something. And it's like, so you're piecing this together. And I had a gentleman reach out to me on LinkedIn not that long ago saying, I need maternity wear. And when I sent him the stuff, he's like, wow, that's really expensive. And I go, well, hey, hang on for a second. She needs that. But when she's done with her maternity wear, have her give it back, clean it, put it in a box, and just have it available for the next woman that,
Yeah.
becomes pregnant. And he actually wrote back, he's like, that's a brilliant idea.
Hmm.
And I think that's what we're going to do. And I'm like, there you go,
Yeah. If the decontamination can happen, then go for it. Why not?
Yeah.
Sustainability as well. Also a big topic for PPE.
Is it it's either Leo that does it or another brand will take their PPE that's left over or something and they make
Mhm.
dog beds out of it.
Really?
Yes, I need to find who does that because I just thought that was amazing. Like they repurpose the scraps or something and then they like put it
Okay.
in for the filling of a dog bed. And I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we with PPE, we're not really doing the world much good, especially when I think about disposable gloves. But yeah, if we can bring something back, that's fantastic.
Right.
Um, and I remember in the past when I first started in my PPE career, this was maybe like 15 years ago. Female PPE was pink.
Mm.
I'm not sure if you noticed this as well. If you wanted a female PPE, it was a pink shoe, or it was a safety pair of safety glasses with glitter or diamonds in them,
Shrink it, pink it.
right? Do you see this still happening, or do you genuinely see?
I I have an article on this called Burn the Pink.
Oh my
And
gosh, really?
yes, so I actually bought for the because I wrote this whole art. There was a photo going around of a gentleman wearing a pink safety vest, and it had a sign on the back saying, "I forgot my PPE," and it set me off. I was so angry because I'm like, here in the United States, we have a big mental health problem in construction. So why are we shaming people by putting them in pink, which also gives again, well, pink is female. You see where I'm going with this,
Yeah.
but also like you don't that photo of that guy wearing pink, like you don't know why he forgot his PPE. He could have been up all night taking care of a sick baby, or something else happened. He there's a million reasons why, but I bought a bunch of pink vests and I set them on fire. It was like the most liberating thing I've done in a while. And also really concerning how quickly they burnt. Like they
Oh
went up
shoot.
like that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Uh, but that was the photo that we used for the article was the
Amazing.
very few photos I got of the safety vest in pink being up in flames. But I still see it. And I
Mhm.
think, hey, if you want to wear pink on a job site because it empowers you,
Mhm.
go for it. However, keep in mind that the majority of women that are working work sites don't want to wear pink. They don't want to stand out any more than they need to. And most of that pink has been a shrink it, pink it, which means they took the man size and they just scaled it down into a man size,
Yeah.
slapped pink on it, and gave it to a woman and said, make this work. And we see that still with shoes, definitely safety vests. And our ANSI standard does not allow for pink. So when you wear a pink safety vest, it's actually out of compliance. You need to have yellow, green, or a neon orange, whatever that color is. But pink isn't even the correct color to be wearing anyways. So yeah, I could go on and on about the pink, but yes, I did get a little bit of hate when I wrote that article because people are like, "So you just hate pink?" I'm like, no, I hate when it's used as punishment because you have to look at the deeper meaning of pink and how it's been used to as a feminized weapon against us now. So,
No, no. I'm gonna reread. I'm gonna post and reshare that article. It's got to be brought back to life. And I apologize for any hate that you get. No, but
no, I don't care.
I love it. Like, get rid of the pink, burn the pink.
Yeah,
It's like burn your bras, burn the pink,
burn the
which
pink.
you know, it's a safety. Oh gosh. Anyway, Amy, seriously, I've loved talking to you about this, and thank you so much for bringing this conversation to light. Where can we find more about you, or what are your socials? What are your links?
The Safety Rack is on Instagram right now. We are
Okay.
at thesafetyrack.org. And then LinkedIn has the Safety Rack. And then you can find me, Amy Roosa, on LinkedIn as well. So those are the main sources right now as we get started and keep continuing our journey to close the PPE equity gap globally for everybody. So
Mhm.
feel free to reach out to me if you have a question or a comment, whether it's positive or not. If it's not, I'll just delete you. Uh,
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, we need to have this conversation. I think the more we have it, the more we bring awareness to it. And we have to think about it this way too. Like, it's not just about protecting women in the workforce, it is actually also protecting men. If we're wearing the right fit, we're not distracted by it, we're not put at a higher risk. It's not going to create that domino effect that's going to affect the job site or nearby workers. So it affects all of us at the end of the day.
Mhm. It's a safety topic, and safety is a human right, and it's for everyone.
Yes.
Exactly. And my biggest learning that I have taken from this is also I can build my own down table.
Mhm. Just build it.
Just build it.
Yeah.
Everyone, build your table. If people aren't making it for you, you just bring it yourself. So, Amy, thank you so much, and I wish you a great start to the day.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Thank you.